Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime can arrive as little as 4 months from now, and with the time stretching thinner and thinner, it only makes sense that Mob Entertainment would expand their structure in the game, introducing new characters and locations to further complete the chapter. And that's exactly what it seems they're doing, as there are now 7 new character names trademarked, as well as a new post on Mob's Twitter meant to symbolize something between the prototype and the toys. And us too, they got a hand in the middle. That's a human hand too. But since we got a lot of analyzing to do with just the screenshot alone, plus we got a bunch more new info, I'll be making that its own video to keep everything concise. But in combination with that, we've also been able to see job hirings posted by Mob Entertainment, implying that they're gonna need more hands on the project in order to fully create something for us to enjoy. And when I say that, I don't mean that lightly, as the latest installation of Poppy Playtime did get its share of mixed and even negative reviews due to its buggy launch, a lack of impact and emphasis on certain characters and events, and for some people, even the characters themselves. I mean, justice for Pianosaurus, y'all. Come on now. Okay, just crouch. I'm not gonna run. No, you already be moved. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's why your freaking cutscene's glitched. Not even gonna go out. What is going on? Y'all to be please? Kill you. What? Look, bro, he got like some smart AI or something. I can't leave this spot, dude.
Give me 200.
I'm running. Move. He's glitching now. Switch hands. Okay.
Give me $200.
Oh my. I don't know what to do. Now, of course, design choice is subjective, but with that being said, it's doubly important that Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime can not only launch smoothly, but have everything within the game be closely tied to what Mob is ultimately trying to tell us in the story. But the bits of bad feedback and criticism doesn't take away the pure hype this game has. So with that in mind, let's go through all 7 of these new characters together, and afterwards speculate on what their reveals can mean in conjunction with the new job hirings and everything else I've recently covered for how we progress through the Playtime Co factory in Chapter 5, with a little bit of extra info I found to help us out. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, y'all. So let's start with the first character, and real quick, just for a recap, the past 4 characters that had their names revealed were Globy, Giblet, Lily Lovebreeds, and Chum Chompkins, all supposedly tied under the name Wrong Side Outimals. While we didn't necessarily get a toy title at all, we do have Goober Guts. Really giving Giblet vibes, bro. But I feel like Giblet for some reason has a bouncy stomach like Doughy. I cannot explain why, but that name with the build like the dude on the biscuit can is so perfect. But going back to Goober Guts, oh my goodness. The main thing that swirls in my mind is a green dumb zombie of some kind, or what somebody would say about you after they just smelled what you went through. Yeah, bro got a bad case of Goober Guts. Told him to bleach the house, but that still won't enough. I won't try to speculate much on in-game character mechanics much like I did in my last video, but I'll explain why once we get the rest of the character names out of the way so it makes a bit more sense. With our next character being Loopy Noodle. Y'all know those inflatable guys that flail around near car dealerships and places like that? I have a feeling this character will resemble something similar to that, but not with the air inside, just a body with noodle arms. You can think about it like what we already have in real life with noodle toys like these, with the unique spin on it being an actual character with a likeness and additional arms to play with. Up next, we have Blanky Blanks, and immediately, I think of an eraser. If there was some kind of reusable eraser that was advertised as a toy to me, it would make sense for it to have a name like that. Shoot, it could be a blank white sheet of paper for all we know, but having this new character serving as some kind of removal or school toy might make the most sense. But what do you guys think? Let me know that. Whoa, no, not the outro. What do you think the toy will look like? Up next, we have Bindle Boogie, which at a glance seems like the most contradicting name, as the word bindle actually refers to a bag, sack, or carrying device that is stereotypically used to represent someone who is homeless or has a lack of resources. And I don't know about y'all, but I would not be boogieing in that situation, so this name could mean something else entirely. As to what this character could look like, it might lean into the symbolism behind a bindle, making their portrayal rather poor or minimalistic. which again could clash with the boogie parts, but maybe that's what draws people in. When trying times are tough, you still live life to the fullest, and you can honestly translate this to I genuinely have no clue what this character could look like. Let me know what you think down in the comments. The next character we have is Bubby Chums, and when I hear this, I think of either bubblegum or bubbles themselves, with bubbles honestly making the most sense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like Playtime Co. has released anything noteworthy relating to candy, food, or even anything edible. Shoot, get rid of the word noteworthy. I don't think they ever have. So a toy that lets kids create bubbles with maybe a bit of likeness to it seems to make sense. As for its appearance, I wouldn't expect anything too crazy other than maybe a face to add to that likeness as said earlier. And as we're analyzing these characters, some of you are probably thinking, these descriptions and names don't sound exactly scary. I don't know how they look in a horror setting. You wouldn't be wrong about that, but this also ties into the extra info I said I found earlier in the video. So just like with the character mechanics, the answer is coming soon. So continuing on, let's round this out with the last two character names we got revealed, starting with Dizzy Boo Boo. Man, these names are these names are ridiculous. When I hear this name, I immediately think of a toy that's constantly clumsy, always tripping, falling, or bumping into things. The boo boo part makes me picture something already covered in little bandages or patches, like a mascot toy whose whole gimmick is getting hurt over and over again. And honestly, in game, this character could look beat up with scuffed fabric or bruised plastic, which would make for a creepy design in a horror setting. Now last but absolutely not least, we got Doodle Bones, ladies and gentlemen. And for me, this is my favorite one. Right away, the name makes me think of a skeleton character with a pencil. Like maybe bones you can literally draw on, erase, or reassemble. It could even be a hybrid of a toy skeleton mixed with an art toy. And honestly, this does sound something about the boop boop. And honestly, this does sound like somebody that can hang with Goober Guts, especially if bro is depicted as a zombie. Shoot, even Blanky Blanks could fit the spot, and it makes sense. But remember, all of this is very, very heavy speculation, and it's likely that most of what I think will be dead wrong. So be sure to let me know what you think these characters will look like down in the comments. But now that we've gone through all 7 of the new names, let's zoom out for a second and talk about what this really means for Poppy Playtime heading into chapter 5. The answer might come down to world building. And just to give a quick definition, world building is when you expand on a fictional universe by fleshing out its rules, characters, and locations so that it feels more alive and immersive. For Playtime Co., that means creating a variety of toys that would have realistically existed in this massive toy company's catalog, even if not all of them are meant to become monsters or main characters. It's important to remember, the Bigger Bodies initiative wasn't about turning every toy into a living creature. It was a cost-cutting experiment where certain children were matched with specific toys, specific vessels, to test if the experiment could work. That alone explains why some toys are chosen and others aren't. So while fans might expect every new trademark name to be a central character, the reality could be that Mob is just fleshing out the world, adding toys that make the factory feel full, alive, and more believable. With the less recent reveal of Poppy Play Park, this starts to make a lot of sense. Imagine if back when the park was thriving, you had different lines of mascots tied to certain rides or plushies themed around carnival-style minigames. Who rolled the Loch Ness Monster? Raise your hand. Kind of like how Bunzo Bunny and PJ Pugapillar were mascots for specific play areas. Only this time, maybe you're playing Double Dutch with Dizzy Boo Boo. Before we go too far into theory territory, let's briefly talk about something that does have a bit of proof behind it: the employee reviews. Recently, an alleged Mob Entertainment QA tester posted on Glassdoor, which is a platform for job seeking, saying that while they enjoyed working there, a lot of projects tend to get scrapped before they see the light of day. And this kind of tracks with what we've already seen. Project Playtime, which I already made a full video about, has basically been abandoned later after launch because the company wanted to shift resources elsewhere. Brawn the Dinosaur, who many expected to be Chapter 2's main villain, was originally in that spot but was scrapped in favor of Mommy Longlegs. None of this is necessarily bad. Game development is full of trial, error, and shifting priorities, but it does plant the idea that what fans expect may not always be what they actually get. Still, the silver lining is that this this means Mob is always pushing forward, trying new things and focusing on what they feel will make the biggest impact. So where does that leave us? With 11 total new names trademarked now, it seems less like every single one of these toys is destined to be a major player, and more like Mob Entertainment is expanding the world of Playtime Co. The more toys, the more locations, the more side characters, the more immersive the experience will be when Chapter 5 finally arrives. And with the mistakes of Chapter 4 still running in people's minds, Yarnaby had me tweaking, it feels doubly important that Chapter 5 launches not only smoother but also richer in story and atmosphere. At the end of the day though, the hype is still massive. We're closer than ever to the release of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, and with every new leak, every new character name, and every little breadcrumb from Mob Entertainment, it feels like we're heading into the most ambitious chapter yet. Now that we've talked about the game itself, let's go behind the scenes and talk about what's been going on with the actual work side of the game. Mob currently has 4 job postings on a website called greenhouse.io, which for those that don't know is basically a job recruitment and hiring platform that studios and companies use to organize applications and manage their hiring process. Out of the 4, 2 of them were posted very recently. Here's what they're looking for: gameplay programmer, senior gameplay systems engineer, technical cinematic designer, and just general game production, with the top 2 being the most recent. Mob Entertainment is seeking a gameplay programmer to join our team on a contract basis to help develop our next release. This basically confirms that whatever amount of people were assigned to Chapter 4 won't be enough to deliver this chapter the way they want and when they want. They need more hands on deck to push things forward. It's also possible that Mob is aiming for mechanics most horror games have never really tried before. Something fresh that isn't easy to pull off without expanding the team. Whatever the case may be, this is definitely good news for the development of Chapter 5. It shows that Mob is serious about ramping up production, polishing the game, and hopefully making this the greatest chapter they've ever released. And that should be everything. But before I close out this video, I want to be real with you guys for a second and share some of my personal gripes with where things are right now with the game. Earlier in the video, I mentioned the phrase lack of impact on certain characters and events, and that's exactly how I personally felt about Chapter 4. See, with Chapters 1, 2, and 3, the characters we met felt more grounded. Huggy Wuggy, Mommy Longlegs, Catnap. They weren't just background pieces, they were directly tied to the gameplay in ways that made you feel their presence. Huggy chased you, Mommy toyed with you, Catnap had that constant threat looming over the playcare setting. On paper, I know this might sound like I'm contradicting the whole world building idea I talked about earlier, but it actually goes a little deeper. The biggest example I can give is Harley Sawyer. Back when Chapter 4 was still being developed, Mob dropped that cinematic trailer called The Doctor on their YouTube channel, and if you watched it, you probably felt the same way I did, convinced that Harley was going to be one of the main antagonists of this chapter. The setup was so unsettling. The fact that this guy could theoretically spy on you anywhere in the factory, open pretty much any door, and throw obstacles in your way in real time, it all built up this feeling that we were going to be truly vulnerable in Chapter 4. Like you'd constantly have to look over your shoulder because the Doctor would always be watching, or could always be watching. But when the game dropped, that setup didn't really match the delivery. While yes, everything that I've listed is among the things that he's done, instead of Sawyer himself feeling like a constant looming threat, we mainly got the Sarly Hoyers, his goons. And while they were fine for gameplay, it felt like we never actually got to see the version of Harley we were promised in the trailer, the version that we've heard in audio logs and tapes. I was expecting this big, terrifying encounter where maybe we died him a few times before figuring out how to finally bring him down. But the actual sequence came and went pretty quick. His death in particular felt anticlimactic compared to the hype. Doesn't seem like they're moving at all though. Whoa. This is definitely just new territory. Ooh! Dang, these dudes are right on my back. Ah! Guys are right on my back. We'll move to the next spot. How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir? Whoa! That dude blocked us immediately. Straight body block. We're not dying to these things. I refuse. If you just keep moving, nothing happens. If you just keep moving, you have no reason to be scared. Go through and get it. Go. Oh, put this down. butts. Boom. Yeah, get. What's in here? Not where we need to be. Yeah, get with me. Yeah. Oh, I don't know where to go. We gotta go to the center. Go to the center. That's not where the light is. I don't know where the center is right now. That's not where the center is. Come on, up the stairs. Up the stairs. Let's go. Let's go. Pull that. The button. Oh, wait. Key card. I'll take the key card. What is going on? And an even worse example is my man Pianosaurus. Bro got a trailer too. Then he died and got eaten and swallowed whole by who, ladies and gentlemen? Who? Who? Answer me. I'm doing Pianosaurus a little bit of a favor when I say he got swallowed whole, because that's a bold-faced lie. This man, though he got no teeth, yet we heard crunches. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness gracious. Actually, he does have teeth when he's angry. I lied. And I do know that he saved our lives, right? Like, Pianosaurus was about to kill us. But you gotta understand, I made an entire video theorizing what this man would do in the chapter just for him to become a full course meal. Mob, you might have fumbled the bag on that one. Matter of fact, you might have unzipped the bag, flipped the bag upside down, and poured its contents directly on the floor. Cause what in the world? But what do you guys think about all this? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and check back tomorrow for the new upload.